Good morning, everybody. I thought I would show you something. As most of you know, I'm redoing some of the Moda blocks, and then I'm all caught up with the ones that I misplaced, and then a few of them I'm remaking. And one of them is it's this one, and I'll show you why shortly. Why I'm covering up the bottom, because it's my coloring where I colored it in, and I'll show you why. This one is this one, and this one is a big, huge block. I mean, it's huge. When it's said and done, the block is 27.5 inches. So it's big. It's big. But again, I'll show you. And this one's by Lisa Bonjin. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Lisa. I'm not good at pronouncing names. Sorry about that. But that's the block, and it looks really complicated. I had to look at the previous one, and I won't show you what my previous one looked like because it doesn't exist anymore. It's not a block I lost. It was one that I just didn't like the way it came together. I followed the pattern directions exactly, which as everybody knows on these Moda blocks, they tell you what to cut out, how to do it, and it just wasn't doing what I needed it to do. So I redid the block completely, except this time did a little different. And here is what I did with mine. Now that's the block, and this is how I colored mine in. The only difference is where you see this dark brown, I didn't have a gray coloring pencil, so I just had to use what I had. And this is not just showing you a block. I'm gonna show how I put this one together. It is the same block, except there's not as many half square triangles. You're cutting some bigger pieces. For example, I'm using gray as this background, which is these 4 squares, and then these 4 triangles. And how I did this block for my cuttings, I don't know if you can see these, and I'm sorry, I have really bad handwriting because it's hard for me to see as it is. And for the way I did mine, this is just showing you how I did mine. You don't have to do it this way, but for mine, I cut 36 blue triangles, which were 3 1/4. Then I cut 36 white triangles, 3 1/4. This is going to make these blue and white half square triangles, as you can see. Okay. Then where you see it shows red, what I did for those is I cut 18 squares that are 3 1/8, and then I cut them. See, I cut them. So you end up with 36 triangles. And then for, what is that? Oh, the yellow. It's a really light pale yellow. The yellow is what I made to make my pinwheel. To make that pinwheel, you're going to need to cut, what is this? 2 squares that are 7 5/8, and then you're going to again cut them at an angle, and then you'll end up with 4 triangles. Okay, and then if you notice on here, this triangle, these 4 triangles are fairly large. So what you do with those is you're going to cut 1 14 3/4 inch square, and then you're gonna cut it twice, and that will give you 4 triangles. And then for these corner pieces right here, you'll need 4 that are 7 1/4. Okay, and how this comes together, try to, and what you're creating, if you look at this, you're going to create 1 2 3 4, and then 4 on the other side. That's 8, and that's 12. You're going to create 12 of these, I don't know, little legs or whatever you want to call them. And what they end up being, you're going to create 12 that look like this. And how this is done, I won't go through the half square triangles. And with my half square triangles, for this one, what I did is, like, here's a blue. Let me see, let me look down here. Oh, perfect. Well, yes, I do, perfect. Okay, so you have your blue that you cut out. You're going to cut it like this. Then you'll have 2 triangles. You're going to do the same with the white. You're going to cut your white, which these are, these blue and the white, in my case, because I use blue and white, they're 3 1/4. So you're going to cut these a 3 1/4 inch square, and you're just going to cut it. It's going to leave you with 1 triangle and 1 triangle. And then you just sew them together to make half square triangles. Then you're not having to worry about drawing the line, sewing on each side the 1/4 inch. It cuts a step out. Our triangles, and this also makes it easy to do massive chain stitching without having to re-sew the same thing over and over again. You're still getting 2 half square triangles out of the square. You're just cutting out the having to draw a line in the center and sew on each side of that and then cutting it. You basically cut out a whole bunch of steps. The only step you didn't cut out was cutting it in half and then sewing the 2 together. It still makes half square triangles. And as you can see, I have all my half square triangles piled up over here. And you're going to do the same thing with the red. You're going to cut a square, and then you're just going to cut it. And how this is sewed together, because again, this is what we're making. Let me move this white so you can see, because this white on white is not cool. Okay, you're going to make these. Okay, and again, there's, I should have wrote that down so I would remember how many there were. I don't. 1 2 3 4 8. Yeah, there's 12. No kidding. 12. Okay, so I have my red triangles, my half square triangles. There's my half square triangles. Okay, half square triangles, and they're kind of not stacked so hot. And we've got half square triangles. Get in the punch. And we go. Ugh, it's hard to do it that way. I'm not going to do it that way. I'm just going to show you. Sorry about that. I haven't stacked them very well, so. And I am challenging for me is making sure I get these right. Okay. This makes the top 3. Okay. And then you're going to fill in red, red, and red. That makes this piece. That's the biggest piece of the whole thing. And then here is and you know, as many years as I've been sewing, I've done this many times, but I just never thought about doing something in quilting other than with batiks. It's like I didn't want a super bright yellow, but I wanted a yellow. So I took this super bright gold. It's super bright, and that's the back side. This triangle, this will make your pinwheel in the center. See, this makes my pinwheel. The biggest thing with this block is, you don't have to do it the way I did. I just figured, I like coming up with shortcuts to do things. And then here's my, here's the funny. I didn't have gray, and I wanted where the background of this block is, where I have it colored penciled in brown. Mine is gray, and I didn't have gray, and I didn't feel like going and buying gray. So it's like, you know what? What's the next best thing? I have black fabric. Okay, I have black. I turned it over, and it is kind of a brownish gray. And I'm like, that works. It works perfect. And that's what I did. You know, do other people not want to do that? I'm sure, because that concept of right sides always go out. But I'm like, really, does it matter? And it actually doesn't matter when you're making clothing either. I remember doing one time, because I got tired of the concept of people always saying there was a specific way that fabric had to show on the outside or show on the inside. So what I did is I wished I still had that. I made it specific so my seams were on the outside. Of course, I folded them over so they didn't raggedy, but I made it just to see how many people would tell me my shirt's inside out. And then, of course, because I put a lining on the shirt, you turn it the other way and the seams are still there. They're still showing. And I just thought it was so funny. But again, this is Moda Block number 11. It's a big one. I just thought I would show you how I am doing it and to put it together. It's, like I said, it is a big block. I'll sew it real quick together. I didn't want to spend hours and hours, you know, sewing everything together. But I will sew. I'll have this block together before too long, and then I'll do a quick short video, if my videos are really ever short. My voice is bad, and I'm sorry. Nothing I can do about it. But I'll do a quick video to show the block done. But the other thing is, today we had, well, actually not today, it would have been yesterday. I don't know if it'll happen today again. We got one big rainstorm, and it just kept coming down, and then all of a sudden we lost electricity. And that was the strangest thing, because if you think about it, even if you have everything turned off in your home, your house still makes noise. Especially if you're in an area like here, we have fans going, or I have my big aquariums running. You can hear that, and all of a sudden you wake up because I took a short nap because I wasn't feeling so great. So I took a nap, and I woke up and the house was dead silent, and there was no air. It was like the electricity was off. It was off for a long time. It was off most of the day. So my house was so hot. So I'm like going, okay, I don't like opening my windows because it bugs me to have an unlocked window. I don't know. I don't like curtains on my windows, but I have to have my windows and doors locked. So I had to go check and see which of the windows still had screens on them. My kitchen window, it had a screen on it. And then, of course, we have our security doors. I believe that there's metal things. And we opened that. And then the rain started coming into the house. It's like, seriously, rain, come on. So it was interesting. And I ended up putting on my bright orange raincoat, in which you can still see it in the chair. On the back of my chair. I just haven't put it back away. Because it's like, you know what, I can't handle this heat. And when you're not able to open windows, because I have cats in here, so I'm not going to, I don't want them outdoor cats anymore. I don't want indoor outdoor cats. I just don't. So I couldn't. And then if you open windows, it's out screens. The little critters come in, like the little, I don't know, they're not a fly, but just a little natty looking thing that comes in the house, and I don't like those. And then the lizards come in, the bigger ones. It's like, no, I don't want no lizards in here. I'm not scared of them, and they're fine outside. Once in a while I'll get little tiny ones coming into the house, and it's like, and they just sit there and look at you, and it's like, please stop looking at me, go back outside. I don't like catching them. Excuse me. I don't like catching them little ones, because they're probably maybe a quarter of an inch long to a half inch long. They're super tiny, and I'm always afraid if I catch one, I'm going to smash it. Or if I go to like put something on it to cover it, to get it out, I'm afraid I'm going to smash it. So I tend to leave them alone, and they just, as long as they're not down, or I don't like them walking on me. Once in a while I do, but it's like, seriously, get off me. And then of course you jerk, and you gotta be careful, because you don't want to wipe it away, because they're so small. You could crush one, and no, that would be you. No. But yeah, with the rain, that's the interesting part of living in southern Arizona, because it is the desert and cactus. So with this rain, which is supposed to rain again today just like that, what's going to happen is the desert itself, with all the cactus, they'll go into full bloom, and the cactus will bloom. It's beautiful. I mean, my cactus out front not only bloomed, I had these big berries. And before I could get out there and get them, the birds found them. And I'm like, seriously? I mean, they were there, and then before I could get back out there, the birds got them. And they come from, it's a cactus that's flat. They call it a thornless cactus. I don't know why, because it still has thorns. But the thorns are extremely small. You grab a hold of it, you're gonna know, because those thorns burn, and they're like hairs type, but they call it a thornless cactus because technically it don't have big thorns, but it produces these big, huge, you can actually eat them, and that's what I was gonna harvest them, and then the birds got them. They look like, and they have a taste, they're very sweet. And it is not, it's not dragon fruit, but it's similar to a dragon fruit. I don't know exactly what they're called, but it looks kind of like a dragon fruit, but it's not. It's a little bit different, but it has a similar flavor and look of a dragon fruit, if you've ever seen one of those, which are round, like this, and they're a pinkish color. dragon fruit is very, very sweet, which was the interesting thing of, most people know I drink Mountain Dew. That's what I drink. Sorry for sugary people out there. That's what I drink. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink tea. I do drink infused water, which, anybody can infuse water. Just take water, whether it's filtered or not filtered, and you just put whatever you want to put in the water. You could put melons, you could put dill, you could put whatever you want in the water. It just, whatever. You're not putting sugar, you're not putting salt, you're putting only things. Pineapple, lemon slices, orange slices, whatever you want to put. And then put it in the refrigerator. Leave it in the refrigerator for 24 hours. The next day, it's called infused water, and the water will, or whatever you put in there will absorb the water, and then the water and you could drink it. It's called infused water. And because infused water has electrolytes put back into it, such as, the best thing I like is cucumber and lemon. I don't know why I like that combination, but I do. Cucumber, lemon, and then orange, or cantaloupe. It has a good taste to it. But I will with this and get this block sewn together. Like I said, this block is big. I'm actually kind of glad they didn't make a whole, but I mean, they made a few big blocks. I'm kind of glad they didn't make several of them. I don't know if you guys, I don't think I did, but let me show you. I did finish some other blocks. Let me, I don't know. Yeah, you guys seen those ones. These are not new. You guys seen those ones or some time ago. Oh, there they are. These ones some of these are new. Yeah, I'm trying to keep all these blocks together. I don't want to lose that again. No. Okay. Yeah, I was going to redo these, but I decided, no, I'm not. But this was block number 9. And, of course, I did make 2 of them. And they're similar, but that's what mine looks like. Let me see if I can hold it up so you can see. I don't know if you can see that white. There's white on the top. This is pink and white. And then I changed this one to a pink. And no, those are not the same color. They're 2 different colors. There's that one, which I thought was, I just liked the way it was look. It's different than, I think I showed you those. Let's see. That's my big blocks. Number 6. Get back here. And should put clips on them, but I didn't. Yeah, I think you guys all seen the rest of these. Those are the ones I've done so far. And you guys seen, I showed you the other ones. So this is going to be, yeah, I'm kind of excited to see what the next block that we do is going to look like. Oh, put you up there. Put you over there. Oh, I forgot to put these guys in there. But that's okay. There you go, right there. But that's just a little shortcut that you can do for that block. That's the one with all the half square triangles, all those bunches of half square triangles. I just didn't feel like making all those half square triangles, so that's how I did mine. And I colored it in because, so that I knew that I wasn't making a half square triangle. I was making a triangle. Same with this. Like I said, there's a few half square triangles, and then I showed you a shortcut, and that same shortcut can be used with any half square triangle. You don't have to adjust for the 1/4 inch seam, because you have to remember, even when you're sewing a square, doing the lines, you're still using a 1/2 inch seam. So it's just saving a few steps with having to draw the line, sew on each side of it, and cut it in the middle. That's the steps you're saving. Instead, you're just cutting the squares to make triangles and then sewing the 2 triangles together. Of course, you do still have to square them, but I did discover that when I do it this way of sewing 2 triangles together, the block doesn't seem to be as wonky, and for the most part it's actually pretty much square. I was a little, yeah, it's close, it's not exact. I was looking, it's like, no, I'm not taking it apart. Just because it don't come exactly to a point, I'm still not taking it apart. I refuse. I'm not doing it. But for the most part, it looks good. And it's going to be interesting to see what it looks like when it's done. So, hopefully everybody can get out there and enjoy non-rain. No, rain is good. We needed the rain. It's been warm here. And it starts cooling off about towards end of September here. October it'll start cooling off. Then we'll get a few days where the temperatures rise. As anybody knows that lives in southern Arizona, we'll get a few days of the temperatures rising, but it'll be rare now that we'll hit temperatures 120, 125, and those temperatures are brutal. It's brutal. Blah, can't even talk. So, thank you again, everybody, and I hope everybody has a beautiful, delicious, good day. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.